Be me. 26 years old. Warehouse logistics coordinator at a mid-sized distribution center outside of Columbus, Ohio. The job title sounds more impressive than it is. I drive a forklift 4 hours a day, stare at spreadsheets the other 4, and eat a sandwich in my car at noon because the break room smells like someone microwaved a gym sock. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment in a complex called Orchard Run, which has never had an orchard and doesn't run anywhere. It just sits there between a Walgreens and an on-ramp like it lost a bet. My unit is 14B. The walls are thin enough that I know my neighbor in 14A sneezes exactly 3 times every morning. My neighbor in 14C watches crime documentaries until 2 a.m., and whoever is in 14D practices acoustic guitar on Sunday evenings with the commitment of someone who will never be good at it but will also never stop. I respect 14D. My life has the specific texture of someone who made sensible decisions for 6 years. And is now living in the very predictable result of those sensible decisions. I have a gym membership I use 3 times a week, a used Honda Civic that is reliable the way a stone is reliable, a savings account, a fantasy football team that I care about more than I will admit, and approximately 0 drama. That is the inventory of my life in March. By the following October, it looks nothing like that. The first time I see her, it's a Tuesday evening at the end of March. I'm coming home from a late shift, still wearing the safety vest that I keep forgetting to leave in my car, and there's a woman in the parking lot standing next to a Subaru Outback with 3 duffel bags and a cardboard box on the ground beside her. She's on the phone. I can't hear what she's saying, but I can hear the tone of it, which is the specific tone of someone holding themselves together with both hands while trying to sound like they're not. I've heard that tone before. My sister used it for 3 months during her separation, and I learned not to interrupt it. I walk past, go inside, and mind my business. Wednesday evening, parking lot again. The Subaru is there, same spot, and there are more boxes now, stacked on the curb outside the building's main door. A guy from maintenance I recognize, older man named Gerald, is helping her move them in. She's maybe 25 or 26, brown hair, wearing a University of Dayton sweatshirt with a bleach stain on the cuff, moving fast and efficiently. The way people move when they've decided to do something before they can talk themselves out of it. I hold the door. "Thanks," she says, not looking up, and the word has the shape of someone who is conserving energy for more important things. I hold the elevator. She gets in. Gerald gets in with a box. The doors close. 3rd floor. Same floor as me. Gerald gets out at the end of the hall. She goes right. I go left. I go right, because my unit is to the right. She stops at 14D, the guitar apartment. Okay, so the guitar is explained now. My unit is 14B, which means there is 1 door between us. 14C, the crime documentary woman. I say welcome to the building, because that seems like the human thing to do. "Thanks," she says again. Same word, same conserved energy, and goes inside. That's the whole interaction. Thursday I don't see her. Friday I don't see her. Saturday morning, I'm in the parking lot, loading camping gear into the Civic for a weekend trip to Hocking Hills with my friend Theo and his girlfriend, when the Subaru pulls in and she gets out, and another car pulls in right behind her, and a man gets out of that one. I clock him in about 3 seconds. Mid-30s, taller than me by an inch, the kind of guy who is technically good-looking, but has the energy of someone who expects people to confirm that for him on a schedule. He's already talking before he's fully out of the car. "You can't just ignore my calls, Lee." She doesn't turn around. I didn't ignore them. I listened to every voicemail and chose not to call back. "There's a difference." He follows her across the parking lot. "We need to talk about this. We talked for 2 years, Derek. I'm all talked out." I am holding a sleeping bag and trying to decide whether I exist right now. Theo is in his car watching this with the expression of a man watching a nature documentary. Derek grabs her arm. Not hard, not violent, but the kind of grab that says, "I am used to being able to do this and have never been told I can't." She goes still. "Let go," she says, and the 2 words are quiet and specific in a way that is worse than yelling. I put down the sleeping bag. "Hey," I say, which is not a sentence, but functions as one. Derek looks at me like he's doing math. "This doesn't concern you. You're in the building's parking lot." And I'm not a confrontational person by nature. I'm a forklift operator from Columbus, but I have a younger sister, and I know what that arm grab looks like, and I know what comes after it. And she said let go. Derek stares at me for a long 3 seconds. Then he looks at her. This is who you're staying with? A guy in a safety vest? He gets back in his car. He revs the engine because of course he does. He leaves. I pick up the sleeping bag. She's standing in the parking lot with her keys in her hand, looking at the space where his car was. Thank you, she says, which is different from the first 2 thanks. Sure. I'm Lee. Ryan? Theo has gotten out of his car and is standing there with the expression of someone who has witnessed something and wants to process it immediately but is correctly reading the room. She goes inside, and we load the rest of the camping gear, and Theo waits until we are pulling onto the on-ramp before he says anything. So that happened? Yeah. You know she's going to be living next to you. I'm aware. In the guitar apartment. Yes, Theo. That's either going to be very simple or very complicated. It's going to be simple. She just moved in. She has a whole situation. I'm not a person who makes things complicated. Theo does not say anything, but he makes a face that contains an entire opinion. The camping trip is 2 nights. Hocking Hills is the kind of beautiful that Ohio keeps hidden from its own reputation, and I spend approximately 40 minutes of it thinking about the parking lot, which I decide is normal and fine. I come back Sunday evening and 14D has a small doormat in front of it now. It says "Go away" in the font. That means it's supposed to be funny, but is also possibly not. Monday. Elevator. She's in it when the doors open, holding a coffee thermos, earbuds in. She pulls one out. Morning, morning. She puts it back in. We ride down in the kind of silence that is not uncomfortable, but has a texture to it. Lobby. She goes left to the parking lot. I go left to the parking lot. Same direction. She's parked 3 spots from my Civic. I find out later she works at a graphic design firm downtown, because Mrs. Ibarra in 14C tells me in the elevator on Wednesday, with the energy of someone who runs the building's unofficial intelligence operation. She's a designer. Very creative. I can tell because of the way she carries her bag, Mrs. Ibarra says, which is not logic, but I accept it. She had a bad situation, Mrs. Ibarra continues. I know. I saw some of it. That man came back Monday evening. She didn't let him up. I heard him in the lobby on the intercom. Very unpleasant. Very persistent. She said, "Go away," and he said a great many things, and she hung up. She handled it. She handled it very well, but handling it takes energy, you understand. I understand. 2 weeks pass. The guitar appears on Thursday evenings now, not Sundays. And it's not bad, actually. It's the same 2 or 3 chord progressions, but played with more intention than before. I learn her schedule the way you learn a neighbor's schedule. Not deliberately, just through the accumulation of corridor encounters and elevator timing. She leaves around 8:30 in the morning. She gets back between 6 and 6:30, unless it's a deadline week, Mrs. Ibarra has informed me, in which case it's closer to 8. She orders food on Tuesdays and Thursdays. She does laundry on Saturday mornings. On Saturday mornings, I now do my laundry at 10 a.m., which is when she does hers, and I tell myself, this is because 10 a.m. is a reasonable time to do laundry. First time we actually talk, real talk, is in the laundry room on a Saturday in mid-April. It's a small room, 4 washers, 4 dryers, a folding table, a bulletin board, with notices that have been there since the previous administration. She's sitting on the folding table, scrolling her phone, while her stuff runs. I load my washer. She doesn't acknowledge me, which is fine. Halfway through the cycle, I'm reading something on my phone when she says, out of nowhere, "Do you know if the Wi-Fi ever actually gets fixed in this building? The repeater on the 3rd floor has been broken since last fall. Maintenance knows it's on the list." What does being on the list mean around here? It means they're aware of it and have decided to be aware of it for an extended period. She laughs at that, quick and surprised, like she didn't expect to. I'm using a hotspot for everything. My data bill last month was in like, "You can use mine until they fix it." She looks at me. I'm serious. I have unlimited. The password is on a note on my door. I can't just take your Wi-Fi. It doesn't cost more. I'm not using it anyway. That's a very neighborly offer from someone who doesn't know me. I know your name. I know you have strong opinions about people who show up uninvited to your parking lot. I know you play guitar on Thursday evenings. The walls? The walls? Is it bad? No, it's actually gotten better. You're consistent with the D chord now. She looks at me again, slightly differently. The network is called Civic 3A. The password is on a note on my door. She connects to it that afternoon. On Sunday morning, there's a sticky note on my door that says, "Thank you. Here is a coffee from the machine in the lobby. I owe you a real one." And there's a coffee from the lobby machine taped next to the note. I drink the terrible lobby coffee and feel unreasonably good about my morning. April becomes May. Derek comes back once more, in the first week of May. I'm aware of it only because I'm coming up the stairwell and I hear his voice in the corridor on 3, and I stop because I don't want to walk into something. "Lee, open the door. I'm calling building security. I just want to talk. You had 2 years of talking. Leave me alone." I come up the stairs and into the hallway. Derek sees me. The math happens again behind his eyes, and this time the math includes whatever he decided about me in the parking lot. "She doesn't want to talk to you," I say, because it seems worth stating clearly. You're really inserting yourself into something that isn't. The building has a no trespassing policy for people who aren't residents or guests of residents. I don't actually know if this is true, but it sounds true. Derek looks at 14D's door, then at me. Then he leaves. I hear Lee's door open a few inches behind the chain. He's gone. "Yeah, thank you again." "Sure again." The door closes. 5 minutes later, a text from an unsaved number. "This is Lee from 14D. How do I save Derek's number as a contact so my phone auto-blocks it?" I tell her. She texts back. "Done. You just solved like 30% of my current problems." I text. "What's the other 70%? She texts. "None of your business yet. Jet." That's a word that contains a door. May. Things shift. We start talking in the elevator like it's the natural state. She's funny in the quick, sideways way of someone who's been around sharp people and absorbed some of it, and she's specific about everything, like she notices things in higher resolution than necessary. "Your safety vest has a small Superman sticker on the left pocket. Who put that there?" "My nephew. He's 4. He came to visit and decided my work stuff needed decoration. That's the most important safety feature on that vest. Don't tell OSHA." She laughs. We start overlapping in the mornings when she's getting coffee from the lobby machine and I'm leaving for work, and the overlap gets longer over the weeks in the way of something that has decided to take more time without asking. Theo, when I tell him, makes the face again. "You said it was going to be simple." It is simple. You told me about the sticky note coffee, the Wi-Fi, the elevator, the blocking Derek thing, the sticker conversation, and the laundry overlap. Those are small things. Ryan, you narrated the small things in the order they happened, with detail. That's not how you talk about simple things. I eat my sandwich and do not respond to Theo, his girlfriend, a landscape architect named Bex who has known me since college and has the social intelligence of someone who charges for it. Texts me separately. "Theo told me about the neighbor. Very cute. Be careful with the timing. She just got out of something difficult." I text back. Nothing is happening. Bex. Okay. The colon and the parenthesis in that text are an entire position paper. June. She knocks on my door on a Wednesday evening. I open it, and she's holding a casserole dish. "I made too much pasta bake. Do you want some?" "Yes." I'm not going to eat it all, and I feel bad throwing it away. That's a completely valid reason. It's not like it's a thing or anything. I know. I just made too much. "Lee, I know. I want the pasta. Thank you." She hands over the casserole dish, looks briefly like she's going to say something else, and goes back to 14D. "The pasta is excellent." I text her to say so. She texts back, "Okay, you can stop being so normal about everything." I text, "What does that mean?" She texts, "It means most people make things weird, and you keep not doing that, and it's throwing me off." I text, "Should I make things weird?" She texts, "Probably not." She texts, "Definitely not." She texts, "Ignore that last exchange. Good night." The pasta bake situation becomes a recurring phenomenon. She cooks more than she means to, she says, because she grew up in a big family in Dayton, and her portion calibration is set for 5 people. She brings things over, I return the dishes, we talk in doorways for longer than it takes to hand over a dish. I start cooking more too, not in a deliberate way, just in the way of someone who has a reason to make more food than they need. July is when I fully stop lying to myself. I know what it is. I'm not confused, I'm just aware of the timing problem and the fact that she's 4 months out of something she moved cities over, and Derek still texts occasionally from blocked numbers that appear as unknowns, and she still checks the parking lot when she gets home. That specific half second of checking. I know all of this. I'm not doing anything about it. I'm just making pasta and being in the elevator and letting the thing be what it is. Theo says, that's either very mature or very cowardly. I genuinely can't tell. It's just responsible. You've been responsible for 6 years. Look where that got you. It got me a savings account and no drama. Ryan. What? Do you like her? Yes. Has she done anything that indicates she knows you like her? I think she knows. What does she do with knowing? I don't answer this, because the answer is, she brings pasta, and then says things like, okay, you can stop being so normal about everything. And I don't know what to do with that answer. Theo, get me a meeting with Bex. We need to conference on this. I don't arrange the conference. A week into July, she knocks on my door at 9 p.m., which is different from the pasta time. I open it, and she's not holding food. She's holding her phone, and she looks tired in a specific way. Derek found my new number. How? I don't know. Mutual friend, probably. Someone who doesn't get it. She holds up the phone. There are 12 texts. I blocked it, but it made the whole evening feel like I was back in March. Come in, I say. She comes in. She sits on my couch and I make tea, because the situation calls for tea, and I happen to have it, which I did not used to have before sometime in late May, which is a fact I will not be examining tonight. She holds the mug with both hands. I'm sorry to just show up. You literally live 12 feet from me. It's not an expedition. Still, it's fine. We sit. She talks about it. Not the text specifically, but the wider shape of it. 2 years with someone who was good at explaining away the things that were wrong. And by the time she understood that explaining away isn't the same as fixing, the explanations had rearranged how she saw things. I kept thinking I was the problem, she says. You're not the problem. I know that now. I'm still calibrating back. That takes time. How do you know that? My sister went through something similar, not Derek level, but adjacent. It took her about a year to stop flinching at things that didn't require flinching. A year, give or take. She makes a face that is exhausted and also somehow grateful. Is she okay now? She's better than okay. She's annoying about it. She gives advice to everyone. Lee laughs. She drinks the tea, and we watch something on TV, some show she picks, and she falls asleep on the couch around 11 p.m., and I get a blanket from the closet and put it over her and go to bed. In the morning she's gone before I'm up, the blanket folded on the couch, a note on the kitchen counter that says, "Thank you for the tea and the TV and not making it weird. I owe you a coffee that is not from the lobby machine." I put the note in the kitchen drawer. It sounds like a small thing. It's not a small thing. August. She gets the real coffee. We go to a place in Grandview on a Saturday that she's been meaning to try. A small shop that roasts its own beans and has exactly 6 tables and walls covered in film photography prints. "This isn't a thing," she says when we're sitting down. "I know. I just owe you a coffee. I know. Stop saying I know." "I know." She throws a sugar packet at me. The coffee is excellent. We're there for 3 hours. She tells me about growing up in Dayton, 4th of 5 kids. Her dad ran a hardware store that she worked at every summer, which is where she learned that most problems are fixable if you have the right tool and the patience to use it correctly. Is that a metaphor? I ask. No, it's literally true, but also yes. She tells me she wanted to be an architect before she found graphic design, that she still sketches building elevations sometimes when she's trying to think, that she once designed a logo for a local restaurant that became semi-famous, and she still gets a small royalty on the merchandise. Like royalties from logo licensing. It's like $11 a month. That's incredible. I'm going to describe you to people as a royalty-earning creative. Please don't. I absolutely will. Ryan! She's laughing and annoyed, and I'm filing the sound of my name in her mouth for later. We walk back to the building through the Grandview neighborhood, past the old houses with their August gardens, and she talks about the kind of neighborhood she wants to eventually live in, something walkable with old trees and a coffee shop you can get to on foot. Grandview is one of the good ones, I say. Columbus is better than people think. Columbus is exactly as good as people think. They just don't think about it often enough. She stops walking for a second and looks at me. That's a good sentence. I have maybe 4 or 5 of those in me. I try to use them wisely. She smiles, and we keep walking. I don't do anything. I want to. I don't. Timing, I tell myself. Timing is real. September. Theo and Bex have Lee and me over for dinner, which is either a natural social development or a coordinated operation, and I choose to believe the former because the latter requires acknowledging that my friends have made decisions on my behalf. The dinner is at their place in the short north, and it is, by any objective measure, too nice for a casual thing. There are candles and a real tablecloth, and Bex made a roast, which takes hours. Lee notices immediately. In the parking lot before we go in, she says, "This is a setup. They invited us to dinner. Ryan, there are candles. Bex likes candles. How many candles does Bex normally use for casual dinners? I'm going to say 2. How many candles are in there? I look through the window. 7. I count 8. So we agree this is a setup. I've known it was a setup since they texted. I just wanted to see if you knew. And I came anyway," she says, and goes up to the door and knocks. The dinner is the best kind of evening. The kind where the conversation finds a level and stays there for hours without effort. Bex and Lee discover they both know someone from the design world in Columbus. Some woman named Petra who apparently has strong opinions about font licensing and uses them freely. And the two of them spend 20 minutes on this while Theo and I do the dishes. Theo. She came anyway. She knew what it was and came anyway. Ryan. I know. Do you know? Yes. Tell her you know. It's not the right. It's September. You've been playing the long game since March. 6 months isn't that long. In neighbor time, that's like 3 years. You live 12 feet from each other. I hear Lee laughing about something in the other room. Soon, I say. Theo makes the face. October. The first Thursday of October. She knocks on my door, and she's not holding food, and she doesn't look tired. She looks like she decided something. The coffee shop in Grandview, she says. Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah. I've been pretending it wasn't because it was easier, but it was a thing, and I've been thinking about it for 6 weeks, and I'm tired of not saying that. I look at her. Okay. Okay as in, you already knew, or okay as in, I've known since April, and I was waiting for you to be ready. She stares at me. April. Yes? You've known since April, and you just... I was waiting for you to be ready. Lee? She is quiet for a second. That's either the most considerate thing a person has ever done for me, or I'm going to be furious about the 6 months. You can be both. I'm going to be both. She is both. Briefly. And then she grabs the front of my shirt and kisses me in the doorway of 14B, with Mrs. Ibarra's crime documentary murmuring through the wall, and the smell of whatever Lee made for dinner still in the air. And that's how the timeline works. March parking lot. April laundry room. May pasta bake. June tea. July couch. August coffee. September candles. October doorway. Every step of it, earned by not skipping the one before. So my face when I helped a woman get away from her ex-boyfriend in a parking lot, and she moved in next door, and somehow that turned into the best thing that ever happened in Orchard Run. Be me, 27 now, birthday was in September, and the woman who moved into 14D in March is currently stealing the good pillow off my couch. It's a Tuesday evening in late October, and she does this without asking, in the way of someone who has decided that certain territorial boundaries no longer apply. And she's right, they don't. We've been whatever this is for 3 weeks officially, and several months unofficially, and the 3-week official version has the ease of something that didn't have to build from nothing, because it already built from the months before. Lee does not move into my apartment. We have a conversation about this in November, very early in the morning, sitting on the kitchen floor, because that's where we ended up, after she came over at midnight, with a problem she'd been turning over for 3 days. I'm not moving in, she says. I know. I need my own place. I need to know I can close a door that's specifically mine. I understand that completely. You're not offended. Why would I be offended? Because some people would take that as, Lee, you moved out of a place where closing doors required permission. You should have as many of your own doors as you need. She looks at me for a long moment. Where did you come from? Portland, Oregon originally, then Ohio State, then a forklift. Ryan. I know what you mean and I don't have a good answer. I'm just the guy from 14B. She leans her head on my shoulder on the kitchen floor, and we stay there for a while. 14D stays hers. What happens instead is a kind of gradient, a natural overlap of 2 units 12 feet apart that develops its own logic. The coffee on my side, the better knife set on her side. The guitar she actually plays well once she's comfortable. On her side, though I hear it through the wall, and it's gotten good, not just the D chord anymore. She has a record player, actual vinyl, and a collection that Mrs. Ibarra describes as eclectic, probably Italian. which is not accurate, but Mrs. Ibarra has her own interpretive framework. The records migrate to my place on weekends because my living room has better acoustics, which is what Lee says, and I believe. My gym bag migrates to her place because her bathroom has better lighting, which is what I say and she does not entirely believe but accepts. We eat dinner together more nights than not. We go to the Grandview coffee shop on Saturday mornings with regularity. We watch things on the couch with the specific comfort of two people who have established preferences without having to negotiate them every time. She likes documentaries about building things, engineering failures, anything where someone made a decision and the decision had consequences. I like long, slow things, slow burn dramas, anything where the payoff takes 5 episodes to arrive and arrives correctly. Takes we compromise. One night her thing, one night mine. She gets very emotionally invested in my slow burn dramas and then refuses to admit it. I find out she's invested by the specific quality of her silence, a focused silence, different from bored silence. November. Derek again. Not in person this time. Lee gets an email from a legal address she doesn't recognize, and when she looks it up, it's a firm that Derek apparently hired to send her a letter about a jointly owned piece of furniture, a couch. They owned a couch together. He has retained a lawyer about a couch. I'm going to need you to understand, Lee says, that this couch cost $400 from a furniture outlet in 2021, and this man has sent me a legal letter. Is it a nice couch? It's a fine couch, Ryan. It's not a legal letter couch. It's a television-watching couch. What do you want to do? I want to tell him he can have the couch. I want the couch nowhere near my life. Then respond and say exactly that. Will you read the email first? I need someone to confirm I'm not insane. I read the email. It is 3 paragraphs long and uses the phrase shared chattels twice. You're not insane. He's using legal language about furniture as a way to maintain contact because the other ways have been blocked. That's what I thought, and I needed to hear someone else say it. Write back, say you have no claim to the couch, wish him well. Do not respond further. Will you help me write it? Yes. We write the email together at her kitchen table, which takes 20 minutes because she wants to say several things that should not go in a legal communication, and I have to redirect her 3 times. Can I at least say, no? What if I phrase it as, still no? It's completely professional though. Lee, I hope the couch brings you the comfort you clearly need, is not professional. It could be read as sincere. It cannot. She sends the version we agreed on. Derek does not respond. The couch matter is closed. She buys a new couch. It's a good couch. November becomes December, and Columbus does what Columbus does in December, which is become a gray study in persistence. She meets my sister Kara, who drives up from Cincinnati with her husband for a weekend. Kara is 30, relentlessly social, with the specific enthusiasm of someone who has been asking me to produce a partner for inspection for approximately 4 years and is very pleased to finally have something to work with. Dinner at a Thai place downtown, all 4 of us. Kara spends the first 20 minutes asking Lee questions at a pace that a reasonable person might describe as an interview. Where did you grow up? Kara asks. Dayton. Oh, we almost moved to Dayton. What part? The south side. Near? Do you know the hardware store on? That's my dad's store. The table goes briefly insane. Kara has been in her father-in-law's hardware store. This is the thing that breaks the ice, if any ice remained, because Kara comes home from that dinner and texts me, I already liked her, but the hardware store is fate, Ryan, fate. I text back, it's a coincidence. Kara, you are the least romantic man I've ever met, and yet somehow you did this correctly. I'm proud of you. Love you. Lee texts me from 14D at 11 p.m. that same night. Your sister is intense. I text back, she gets it from our mom. Lee, what's your mom like? I text, a more experienced version of Kara, with longer opinions. Lee, I love that for her. Lee, I think I'd like your mom. I think my mom would like Lee too. I file that sentence. Christmas. She goes to Dayton for 4 days. I go to Portland for 5. We text the way we've texted since May, frequently and without ceremony, like a conversation that never quite ends. She sends me a photo of her family's living room, which is extremely full of people, 8 of them, the kind of family gathering that has its own weather system. Is everyone here? She texts. That's a lot of people. It's always a lot of people. I forgot. I've been alone for 2 years, and I forgot what a lot of people feels like. Is that good or bad? 3 minutes pass. It's really good, actually. I've been hermit mode since the Derek thing, and I think I've been using alone as protection, but it was starting to just be alone. Yeah, I missed them. Go be with them. I will. Sorry. Sending one more photo first. She sends a photo of her dad's hardware store, closed for Christmas. The window lit with colored lights, and a handwritten sign on the door that says, "See you in 2024. Thanks for another good year." I save the photo. Portland is its own thing. My mom's house full of the specific controlled chaos she generates naturally. Kara and her husband driving up from the airport. My nephew Oscar running between rooms with the boundless energy of someone who hasn't been allocated responsibilities yet. Oscar is 4. He still has the Superman sticker situation from his last visit, and asks me if the sticker is still on my vest. It's still there, buddy. Good! It's so you don't get hurt! The Superman sticker is protecting me. Yes. Oscar is satisfied by this, and goes to run in a different room. My mom corners me in the kitchen on Christmas Eve. She is a 58-year-old retired librarian, with the social intelligence of a person who has watched people select books for 3 decades, and therefore understands something about what people are looking for. Tell me about Lee, she says, which is not phrased as a question. I tell her. I tell her more than I plan to. She listens. She sounds like someone who had to do difficult things and did them with dignity. That's exactly right. Bring her next year. Mom. We've been together 2 months. I'm speaking to next year, not this year. It's a statement about trajectory. I fly back to Columbus on December 27th. Lee gets back from Dayton on the 28th. She knocks on my door at 8 p.m. with a container of something her mother made and the specific expression of someone who has been around large amounts of love for 4 days and is full of it in a way that needs somewhere to go. My mom sent you these. They're called kurabietes. They're Greek butter cookies. They're absolutely ridiculous. Your mom sent me cookies. I told her about you. She sends cookies to everyone she approves of. It's her system. Her mom's system. I eat a kurabietes, and she is not exaggerating, absolutely ridiculous. We sit on the couch, her legs across my lap, a record playing. The Columbus winter doing its thing outside. How was Portland? She says. My mom wants to meet you. She is quiet for exactly 1 second. That's a big sentence. It's a true one. When did you tell her about me? Christmas Eve, she asked. What did you say? I said someone difficult things happened to, who handled them with dignity. She turns her head to look at me from her end of the couch. Ryan. Yeah. You can't just say things like that casually. It's what I told her, it's true. She's quiet again, looking at me in a way that I've learned to read, which is the way she looks when she's decided something is real. I want to meet her, she says. Okay? Next Christmas, or whenever. I want to meet her. Okay? We watch something on television. She falls asleep. I don't move. January and February, the deep gray months. She has a rough stretch at work, a client who doesn't know what they want but is confident about it, which is the specific torture of creative work. She comes home 3 consecutive Tuesdays looking like she's been chewed on. I make food. Not performatively, just food. Whatever she described wanting earlier in the day. How did you know I wanted soup? You said the word cozy 4 times in text today. That doesn't mean cozy means soup. I've calibrated. You're creepily attuned. Thank you. That wasn't a compliment. I'm taking it as one. She eats the soup, and then spends an hour telling me about the client situation, with the intensity of someone who needed to say all of it out loud to understand what she thought about it. I listen. I ask questions when the questions are useful, and I don't when they're not. Afterward, she says, "You're the only person I can talk to who doesn't try to fix it. There's nothing to fix. The client is just difficult. Everyone else either tells me to quit or tells me to push through. Those are both about the person giving the advice." She looks at me. "When did you get smart?" "Always. I was hiding it behind the forklift." She laughs. "March. 1 year from the parking lot." She brings it up. "Do you know what today is?" "Tuesday." "Ryan. The last Tuesday in March. It's the same day of the week." She has the expression of someone who put effort into saying something and hit an obstacle. I was going to say something meaningful. About the parking lot. Yes. What were you going to say? She looks at the doormat that says "Go away," which has been there since the beginning. I don't think I knew what I was doing when I moved here. Like I knew I needed to get out, but I didn't have a plan beyond that. I just picked this building because it was within budget and not near Derek's apartment. Okay, and I think about that sometimes, that I picked it on like 2 criteria, not near Derek, within budget, and I got the whole thing. The whole what? The whole, she gestures, which means the building, the Wi-Fi, the couch situation, me, all of it, the whole thing, I say. Yeah, yes, as we go to the Grandview coffee shop, because it's Saturday, and that's what Saturday mornings are. We're at the same table as the first time, 3 hours again, and she sketches a building elevation on a napkin while I read, because she thinks better with her hands. On the walk back, she takes my hand, which she does now, and has done for months, but this time she holds it slightly differently, tighter. I love you, she says, which is not a sentence I was expecting at this intersection of the Grandview neighborhood on a Saturday in March, with a napkin building elevation in her other hand. I love you too, I say, because it's been true for longer than I've had the word for it. I should have said it months ago, but I was being careful. The careful was right. Was it though? You needed it to be careful. I hate that you're always correct about this stuff. I was wrong about one thing. What? I thought we'd been together since the laundry room. Ryan, that was just Wi-Fi and neighbor talk. You laughed and I had already lost the thread. She makes a face that is embarrassed and pleased in the same ratio. We walk back to Orchard Run holding hands. The parking lot looks ordinary. It was a Tuesday evening like any other, and then it wasn't. April. She has to go to Chicago for a design conference. 4 days. She sublets 14D to a friend who is between places, a woman named Dana who plays percussion in a band and whom Lee describes as deeply organized about unexpected things. The apartment 4 days empty is surprisingly loud in a way I didn't expect. The absence of the guitar through the wall. The absence of footsteps above and to the right. The absence of the 6 o'clock to 6:30 arrival. I text her about none of this and all of it. The conference food is bad, Ryan. There's shrimp cocktail at 10 a.m. Why? I think they're trying to signal abundance by serving something formal at an inappropriate time. Have you eaten the shrimp? Obviously I ate the shrimp. It's still shrimp. How's Chicago? She sends a photo from the conference hotel window. Lake Michigan in the background. Flat and gray and enormous. It's big, she texts. Columbus is bigger where it counts. Ryan, that doesn't make sense. It made sense to me. Coming home Thursday. Thursday at 6:45 p.m. My phone buzzes. 15 minutes out. Will you check if I left the stove on? I have her spare key. This happened organically, and without a key ceremony around February. I go check. The stove is off. I leave a coffee from the good place on her counter. Her text at 7:02, you got me coffee. From the good place, it's probably lukewarm. Lukewarm good coffee is still better than hot lobby coffee. Welcome back. 3 dots. I missed you. I missed you too. I'm going to knock in like 10 minutes. She knocks in 8. May. Theo proposes to Bex. This is not a surprise to anyone who has watched them for more than 15 minutes, but it is delivered with the performance of a surprise anyway, because Theo is a man who commits to a bit. He proposes at dinner, the same restaurant where they had their first date, and Bex says yes, and then says, you absolute idiot, you made me cry in public. We celebrate at their place after, the 4 of us and a few more people, and at some point near midnight I'm in Theo's kitchen getting ice, and he comes in and does not say anything for a second. What? Nothing. Theo, I'm just looking at you. Why? You look different from March of last year. I'm exactly the same. Ryan, you ate a sandwich alone in your car every day last year and called it a life. Look at you. I still eat sandwiches. But you don't look like you've accepted things. You look like you're in things. I don't have a response that's better than the silence, so I keep my mouth shut. Theo, is this the part where you realize something? I think I knew what I wanted since the laundry room. Are you going to do something about it? I already have a plan. Theo's expression undergoes a transformation I've never seen on his face before, which is the expression of someone who underestimated. Since when? Since February. I've been saving for it since October. Ryan, keep your voice down. Theo grabs my arm with both hands like he's received news he can't metabolize standing still. You've been planning, quietly. For how long? I said since February. You said October for savings. Correct. So you knew in October. I knew in April. I started planning in October. It takes time to do it right. Theo makes a sound that is not a word. Bex comes into the kitchen, reads both of us in approximately 1 second. Oh, he told you. You knew. Lee told me in March. She doesn't know he knows. This has been a whole thing. I look at Bex. What did she say in March? That she wanted it to be right, and she wasn't going to push, and she was going to let it be whatever it was going to be. And she looked exactly like you looked in the kitchen just now. Which is to say, like someone who already knows what they want, and is just making sure the timing is right. Theo, you've both been planning. Theo, volume. This is the most adult thing I've ever witnessed, and I've been to actual weddings. June, Theo and Bex have set a date, October. They've asked me to be best man, which is an honor I accept, with the awareness that best man speeches are an area where I need outside consultation. Lee, I can help with the speech. You're going to be at the wedding. I can still help with the speech. I know you. I know what's true about Theo from your stories. I can help you build it. We work on the speech over 3 evenings. It's good. It's better than anything I'd have written alone, because she asks the right questions, to pull out the specific things that are true. When you say Theo showed up, what did he actually do? He drove 2 hours in the middle of the night when I called him after my dad died. That goes in. I don't want to make it heavy. It's not heavy. It's true. It's the thing that shows who he is. It goes in. July. I visit her parents in Dayton, the hardware store. Her dad, Tom, is exactly what a man who has run a hardware store for 30 years looks like, which is to say, he has permanently knowing hands and the quality of attention of someone who has been diagnosing problems in wood and metal and pipe for decades and has applied that same diagnostic attention to everything else. He shakes my hand in the parking lot of the store when we arrive and holds the handshake a second too long, which is the assessment, and then nods. Ryan. Yes, sir. She's told us about you. I hope it was accurate. She said you don't make things weird. Her mom, Christine, says, which I recognize as an echo. I try. I can tell, Tom says. That's the whole vetting process. We eat dinner at their house, a big meal around a big table. 3 of her 4 siblings present. The specific warmth of a large family that has figured out how to be together without competing for space. Her brother Danny, who is 23 and works with her dad, gives me the specific slow look of a younger sibling taking stock. So you're the neighbor. I'm the neighbor. She said you do forklift stuff. Logistics coordinator. Forklift is part of it. That sounds more impressive. It is the same thing, but yes. Danny laughs. We talk about Ohio State football for 20 minutes, and by the end I have been provisionally accepted by the younger sibling, which feels correct. Driving back to Columbus that evening, Lee is in the passenger seat with her feet up on the dash, the specific sprawl of someone who is home in the way that isn't about geography. They liked you, she says. How can you tell? My dad said Ryan before he said goodbye. He called me Ryan when we met. He called you Ryan on the way out. That's different. At the start it's politeness. At the end, it's that you've made it into the category of real. I'm honored to be in the category of real. You should be. It takes most people 3 or 4 visits. I keep driving. I love your family, I say. They're a lot. They're the good kind of a lot. She reaches over and puts her hand on my arm, a quiet thing, and we drive back toward Columbus in the July evening. August. I find the ring in the first week of August. It's at an estate jewelry place near German Village that Lee had mentioned once in passing, as having good pieces, the kind of mention that functions as a filed note if you're paying attention. I am paying attention. I bring Kara. She is constitutionally incapable of not having opinions about this, and I need that right now. The jeweler shows us several things. Kara vetoes 3. Too big? She's not a big person. Too ornate? She's clean lines. Too formal? She's not formal. She's right on all 3. Then a 4th. An oval stone, antique setting, simple and specific in the way of something that was made with a particular person in mind, even if that person wasn't known yet. Kara holds it up. This one. Yeah? Ryan, I saw her drink coffee for 45 minutes, and based on the mug she chose alone, this is the ring. I don't fully follow the logic, but Kara's logic tends to arrive at the right place. I buy it. It goes in the bedside drawer and stays there for 2 months while I think about how to do this correctly. September. My birthday. She makes dinner at 14D. Proper dinner. A roast that takes 3 hours. And the good plates she found at an estate sale. and a bottle of wine that costs what she describes as a responsible amount. She has decorated the apartment with one balloon, which she presents with the solemnity of someone who considered more balloons and decided one was the correct amount. Why one balloon? Because you're a one balloon person. How did you know that? I live 12 feet from you. I've been calibrating. I tell her I love her with the specific weight of a full year of knowing it. She tells me she loves me back. We eat the roast. It's the best thing I've had in a year that isn't her. October. Theo and Bex's wedding. The venue is a restored barn outside Columbus. An October Saturday. The kind of fall day Ohio occasionally produces as an apology for February. The ceremony is in the afternoon. Bex in a dress that is exactly her. Theo doing the thing he does where he covers emotion with a joke and then stops halfway through and doesn't. I give the speech. The Theo drove 2 hours part lands exactly right. People cry. Bex cries. Theo points at me and mouths "You're dead," and he's also crying. Lee is at a table near the front, and she catches my eye when the speech lands, and she does a small nod, the nod of someone whose fingerprints are on the work. After dinner there's dancing, and the barn is warm and the music is good, and at some point in the evening Lee and I are outside on the steps, watching the last light go off the field beyond the barn. "Good speech," she says. "Good writer. You wrote it. You asked the right questions." She leans into my shoulder. "It's October in Ohio, cool and specific. This time last year," she says. "Yeah. The doorway. The doorway. The field is dark now, just the stars and the warm light from the barn behind us." I reach into my jacket pocket. "Lee." She looks up. I hold it out. It's not a big production. There's no speech, no audience, no setup. Just the October evening, and the barn light, and the two of us on the steps. "Will you?" She stares at the ring. She stares at me. "Ryan, you planned this. October seemed right. You used Theo's wedding." "I used the evening after Theo's wedding." "You." She stops. She looks at the ring again. "This is from the estate place near German Village." "Yeah, I mentioned that once. 7 months ago. You remembered." "Lee." "What? Yes or no?" She looks at me with the expression she gets when something is real. "Yes," she says, and she says it at a volume that is definitely audible inside the barn. Theo bursts out the barn door approximately 4 seconds later, which tells me he knew, and Bex is behind him, which tells me he definitely knew. "I knew it!" Theo yells at the October night. Bex is crying and laughing and saying, "I'm so happy and also furious you did this at my wedding." It was after the wedding part, technically. "Technically," he says. Lee shows Bex the ring, and they do the thing women do, which is a specific form of looking at something very closely, while also feeling very much. Mrs. Ibarra finds out Monday morning. I do not know how. She congratulates me in the elevator, with the expression of someone who has known for longer than I realized. "I told my daughter when you started doing laundry on Saturdays." That was April. When a man changes his laundry schedule for a neighbor, the outcome is fixed, she says, and rides the rest of the way down in satisfied silence. We get married the following June. Columbus, warm early summer, the short north neighborhood where everything was already familiar. Theo is my best man. He cries at the altar before anything even happens, which is peak Theo. Her dad walks her down, and he grips my hand after and says something I don't completely hear, over everything I'm feeling, but the word I catch is good. Kara cries. My mom cries. Danny gives me a thumbs up from his row. Oscar, now 5, is a ring bearer and takes the job with the seriousness of someone who understands weight. The Superman sticker is on my lapel. For protection, Oscar told me. Very firmly, when he applied it that morning. I keep it on. Lee sees it during the ceremony and her expression does the thing. The real version. The one I've been reading for a year and a half. We danced to a song that was playing in the Grandview coffee shop the first morning we went there, which she remembered and I didn't, and which she tells me when the song starts. I looked it up after that day. I saved it. You saved the song from the coffee shop in April. I saved it in April. Lee. I know. You knew in April. I told you. I was just being careful. I hold her tighter and we keep dancing. And here's the part that matters. The parking lot on a Tuesday evening at the end of March. A woman with 3 duffel bags and a cardboard box and a phone call in the specific tone. I walked past. I held a door. I held an elevator. I said the right thing to the wrong person in the parking lot. I gave her my Wi-Fi password. I made soup. I waited for October. Every single step was just being where I was when I was there. Not pushing, not performing, just being the guy from 14B. She moved in next door to get distance from something bad. She found something good instead. That's the whole story. That feeling when you helped a stranger get away from her ex-boyfriend in a parking lot. And she moved in next door. And you loved her quietly until it was the right time. And she'd been doing the same thing.
And a phone call held together. I held a door, I held an elevator, I held my breath. She said thanks like a woman, conserving everything I said. Welcome to the building, like it didn't mean anything. I wasn't trying to be anything, just the guy who lives across the hall. But something in the way she checked the parking lot told me she had learned to brace for the fall. 12 feet of hallway between your door and mine. 12 feet that I crossed in 6 months of borrowed time. I wasn't pushing, I was just being here. 12 feet turned into every year. She brought pasta. She said she made too much of I made soup, because she said the word cozy 4 times. The guitar got better on the other side of the wall. I stopped pretending I wasn't listening at all. It wasn't a plan, it was a patience, letting the weight find its own level. She needed every room to be hers for a while before she could let someone into the middle. 12 feet of hallway between your door and mine. 12 feet that I crossed in 6 months of borrowed time. I wasn't pushing, I was just being here. 12 feet turned into every year. She said, "You're the only one who doesn't try to fix it." I said, "There's nothing broken, just a thing that takes time." She didn't say anything for a while after that, and the silence was the closest thing to a sign. I waited for October because you needed March, April, May. I waited for October. Some things don't deserve to be rushed. Some things need every single day. 12 feet of hallway, and the door was always yours. 12 feet, and I never asked for more than what was yours to give. Not pushing, just present, just here. 12 feet, and then an entire life. The parking lot on a Tuesday, just a door held at the right time. Just a Tuesday, just the right time.